So I just got back from the gym and I was talking to an acquaintance of mine. And during the time we talked about a bunch of different topics. And one of which that came up, I thought, hey, that'd make a pretty good YouTube video to talk about. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And the topic being just body fat percentage, and technically what people define as being healthy. Now, before this video continues, just know that this is my own personal opinion and my own personal kind of experience with this kind of thing. So please note that, and if you have a difference in opinion or a difference in thoughts, please let me know, because I would love to know. So first off, body fat percentage, and specifically BMI, isn't a very good scale of determining if you're healthy or not, because I took a BMI test online. It's very easy to do, and I'll show the results right here. And it technically classifies me as being athletic, considering the fact that it's like 17.9 or whatever it is. I can't really see. And 90% of my weight, considering that 60% of it is lean muscle, and the remaining 10 kgs is fat. Now, it's kind of hard to tell with that, considering the fact that I'm 6'2" and I weigh 75 kgs. So I'm technically classified as being within my range on the BMI scale, but also the fact that it's very misleading that it's kind of hard to tell the difference between lean muscle mass and fat with this kind of stuff. Now, when you see people online, specifically Instagram, TikTok, like really attractive looking people that have, say, your dream physique with like subpar 8 to 6% body fat, and you think, God, they look fantastic, I would love to look like that, they must feel amazing. No, they don't. Because what you don't realize is people that have that lower body fat percentage, they don't feel good. They feel like it's incredibly hard to maintain, and you are, let's say, constantly hungry all the time. You're constantly fatigued because your body has nothing to fuel itself on, because your body fuels itself on your fat. And if you run out of your fat, it'll start consuming your muscle. So you have to at least have a significant amount of fat in order to fuel yourself in your workouts. Now, I've got two people that I know of who are kind of like on two different scales of this body fat percentage thing. One of them, just for safety's sake, I'll call him Sam. He's the guy that I see at the gym on occasion, and he's training for a strength competition. And during this time, he has focused more on weight and power rather than his body fat and like aesthetics. So during this time, he's actually gained at least like 5% body fat. So he's gone from being, say, 25 to 30% body fat, and he's a pretty like decently sized guy, shorter than me by a little bit, but still pretty decently sized. And you can see the muscle, but you can also see the fat on him. And he says that he feels way better now than what he did when he was at a lower percent body fat. So just because somebody has a little bit more body fat on them doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be unhealthy, because you can feel a hell of a lot better just having a little bit more fat on you. Yes, you might not look aesthetic or toned or like a Greek god or goddess in terms of like females or whatever, but you'll feel a lot better because you won't be having to constantly fatigue yourself, and you'll have that excess amount of fat so that you don't just constantly feel fatigued and hungry and just like basically shit all the time. And then I have another friend. Technically, his body fat percentage is very low, like I'd say 10%, maybe less, except he weighs 55 kilograms and he's my height. So imagine that, somebody who is 6'2" and 55 kilograms. My grandmother weighs that much. So it is incredibly bad that he weighs that much. And so basically his body fat percentage, if you just think of somebody who is my height, forget the weight and just say, oh yeah, they're on 10% body fat, they must be shredded. He weighs 55 kilograms. He is incredibly malnourished. Not overly so, but just the fact that he is basically, not skin and bones, but he's very thin. And that's not good. And then again, same thing with Sam, where the fact that he has more body fat doesn't take away from the fact that he's way healthier feeling than what he did when he was a lower body fat percentage. So don't take everything that you see on Instagram and TikTok and social media in general as a rule of thumb on how you should look. These people, actors, actresses, people on Instagram and social media kind of influencers, they don't look like that all the time. What you're seeing is the 1% of or less of what they look like all the time. That's their very, very, very good days if they don't have a good pump, good lighting, photo editing of any kind. So just because that's what you see on Instagram and on social media doesn't mean that's what it looks like in real life. And that doesn't mean that's what you should look like in real life. Yes, if you're doing and going into fitness, you can have goals that you want to achieve. You can aspire to look like this person. But just because you do, doesn't mean you should go to such extreme lengths as to diet yourself and reduce your body fat to such a low point that it begins to affect you both physically and mentally, that it's just going to ruin you later on in your life. Or just the fact that it's ruining you now if you're at that stage. So just because you have a low body fat percentage doesn't mean you're healthy, and doesn't mean because you have a really high percent body fat that you're also not healthy. It's a perfect balance of trying to have enough fat on you to fuel your muscle and fuel your workouts, but also not having too much that you're technically considered obese. So again, this is just my personal opinion with the two acquaintances that I'm familiar with and their experience with their kind of weight and fat loss and fat gain. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So take this whatever you will. I hope somebody takes something good out of this. And if you have any different thoughts and opinions, please let me know. I would love to just see. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So see you guys later. See ya.